Now, I am really excited and really grateful to have the opportunity to speak to you guys. I will say I think it's a little unfair that I had to go first, and that I'm followed up by someone who's going to talk to you all about nerves and anxiety and public speaking after I finish public speaking. So hopefully over the next hour I don't give Julie too much content. Don't do that. Don't do that either. I'm hoping that it's all good. So anyway, really excited to chat to you guys today. Now, I'm here to talk to you about Facebook. Who in the room has a Facebook profile? Cool, I'm in the right room then. Awesome. So, little question for you. Have any of you ever felt maybe a little bit challenged by Facebook? Maybe that it's a little bit frustrating, it keeps changing, it gets overwhelming, and then you're watching other people, maybe your competitors possibly, or other people in the industry, and then you find yourself a bit frustrated because they seem to be doing it so well and you struggle so much with it. That's a really... I've got to be careful I feel like we're doing some weird volume things here, so is that me? No? I can hear feedback. Okay, cool. So that is a really common thing, and what I do want to encourage you guys to do is remember that it is just one step at a time, and I'm going to walk you through that process a little bit today. But what I have found is that Facebook can be turned from being one of your greatest frustrations into your biggest assets, and I'm going to talk you through some of the things you can do today to make that happen. Before I dive in, I want to tell you a cool little story about this cute little guy up on the screen here. This is Billy. And when you come into Tasmania, which is where I'm from, Billy is the big scary guard dog that waits at the gate to make sure you don't bring any fruit, veg, plants, meat, nuts, all that sort of stuff into the state. And a couple of weeks ago I had to ring Celine because a really funny thing happened to me. I was coming back from a trip to the mainland, that's what Tasmanians call Australia. Anyone here from Tassie? Oh, okay, you guys feel me, right? Okay, so I'm coming back from the mainland, and I'm loaded up with all my bags, as always. I am a woman. I've got my handbag on my shoulder, I've got my carry-on bag and all the other bits and pieces. And Billy signals at my bag as I get off the plane. And I'm thinking... Actually, I was reminded of the YouTube clip by the Christian comedian Brad Stein, where he talks about how it's not fair that Christians don't have curse words. That was about the point where I really wanted to drop a big F-bomb, because in front of everybody coming off the plane, I've had to unload and empty my entire handbag, and of course in front of everyone in the waiting lounge. Now, I'm a mum, so out of my handbag comes a sock, a 5-year-old pair of undies, a dummy, not 5 years old, I mean a pair of undies from my 5-year-old. And of course Billy is not interested in any of these things, and then suddenly he signals at the little packet of Juice Plus Complete that on the plane he's just popped and a bit of the powder has come out. Now, it turns out no more research is needed, no more studies need to be done. Billy has confirmed that there is fruit and veg in the Juice Plus Complete sachet. So we're all good. Now, for those of you that I haven't met yet, my name is Sam. I'm a social media consultant and trainer, and I specialise in helping businesses or individuals to embrace Facebook, the world's most powerful marketing tool. Now, who in the room has heard me speak at a Juice Plus conference before or been on one of my webinars? Cool. And who in the room has done my Facebook Bootcamp course, the paid 4-week course? Cool. All right. Now, we're going to address you guys later. Don't stress. We've got something exciting to talk to you about. What I do want to say is that whether you've heard me speak or not, today there's going to be some really exciting value for all of you. I've got some new tips and tricks I'm going to talk to you about, and some exciting things that are going to help all of you within your businesses. But I do want to address that there are 3 different groups of people in the room today, just really quickly. The first group of people are the people that are going to get heaps out of this session. You guys are going to walk away, you're going to apply a couple of things maybe in your business. You probably hear more so to hear Mitch and Mills talk or Julie talk, and you're just hoping I won't bore you too much over the next hour. But you're going to get everything you need out of this session and you're all good. The next group of people in the room are the group of people that are going to get a little bit of a foundation out of what I talk about today, but you're going to want to dive a little bit deeper. That's the group of people that's keen to totally lift your business to the next level on social media. You're wanting to move to the next stage, you're wanting some help, you're possibly wanting to do a little bit of training. And I'm going to have a chat to you guys a little bit later on. The third group of people are what I call the more serious business owners. Those are the people that know their business is going to explode. They are so excited, nothing's going to hold them back. You guys are totally chomping at the bit to get to the next stage and you are ready to rock and roll. Those people are the ones that get that little bit of a flutter in your chest when you think about where your business is going and you're really excited. What I will say is that all three groups are going to get heaps out of what I talk about today. But I am going to address you guys separately a little bit towards the end. Now, I am going to talk to you about some game-changing tips, so get your notes ready and make sure you get your questions ready. I do, however, want everybody in the room today to take away one action item from what I talk about. Maybe it's not something I specifically mentioned, but you might have a bit of inspiration as I talk today. So one action item I want you to write down that you're going to do within the next 24 hours to see some change in your business on social media. One thing. Okay. Now, another thing I want to mention is that there are no silly questions. Often the question you don't ask is the one that is floating around in the brains of half the other people in the room here. So make sure you ask lots of questions, but if you are too nervous to ask in front of everybody or if we run out of time, then I will be up in the exhibitors area for the next couple of days with Elise, and we'd love to meet you, we'd love to have a chat with you. Please come up, introduce yourself, and definitely ask all those burning questions. Would love to have a bit of a chat. I do, however, want to address something that a few of you may have noticed, and that is that around about 3 months ago, we decided to rebrand our business. Now, some of you would know that up until 3 months ago, we were known as Sam Lees Consulting. I won't tell you how we came up with that name. But 3 months ago, we decided it was time to change our business brand to mimic more what our culture is, what we're all about. And that is causing other businesses to grow. That is what we're passionate about, and that's what we do every day in our training and our courses. So we changed our business over to Oxano Marketing. Oxano is a Greek word, and it means to cause, to grow, and become greater. Very fitting, we thought. But what I would like to encourage you to do before I move into the Facebook stuff today is to actually pull out your phones, go to Facebook, and like our new Oxano Marketing page. And I actually say that for your benefit more than mine. Yes, I want to grow the page, but we are giving away lots of tips and tricks on that page over and above what I can talk to you about today. We do videos most days. I did one this morning, giving you updates on what Facebook's up to. And I'd love you to share with me as well your business page, and I'd love to jump across and like that one in return too. All right. Now, I did mention earlier that I am a consultant and a trainer, but I'm also a mum of 5 if you include my beautiful partner Greg, who I'm very blessed to be marrying early next year. But I get the challenges that go with being a business owner and a mum, the balancing act that goes with that, which is why I am so passionate about working with businesses to help them get back to doing what they love best. Because it can be a challenge sometimes in business when you're trying to keep all the balls in the air. Now, one thing I'd like you to consider is, who in this room is, people are going to hate me right now, who in this room is over the age of 35? Cool. Well, you guys rock, for a start. Second of all, have you considered that all of those people that just put their hand up, you guys are all mostly, if not completely, self-taught when it comes to tech? If you think about, yes. If you think about it, when I was in school, and I'm 35, no, I'm not, I'm 34. I'll figure it out later. In school, once you hit 30, you stop counting the years after that. For about 3 years, I told everyone I was 29 and so many months. I just didn't want to deal with it. Anyway, one of the things that I did notice is that when we were in school, I barely learnt how to use Word, Excel, and maybe how to send a random email. So for a lot of people in this room, you guys need to give yourself a big pat on the back, because if you can turn a computer on, a lot of what you know, you've had to teach yourself how to do it. That's awesome. So what I do want to do is start by sharing a little bit of a story about how I learnt my greatest marketing lesson at 18 when I started my sales and marketing career. And the reason I want to share this is because it is at the core and the heart of everything I teach, everything I do, and it's at the heart of everything I'm going to talk to you about today. I actually grew up in a small country town in South Australia, and where I grew up there was a lot of pressure on us to go to university. The reason for this was there weren't a lot of jobs around, and of course people with a greater education were favoured for those roles. I had it all worked out. I was going to go to uni and I was going to be a podiatrist. I was going to be a foot doctor. Now, I am so glad that didn't work out because I would hate to work on my feet, let alone anybody else's. But I'd worked it out. I was going to have doctor in front of my name, I was going to have a medical pay packet, and I wouldn't have to deal with blood because I'm really, really squeamish. So I had it all under control. But then I got to the end of year 12, and at exam time, I got hospitalised with glandular fever, and I was unable to complete my exams. They gave me two choices. Choice number one was that I could go back to year 12. They called it year 13 to make you feel a little bit better, but I could go back to year 12, or I can go and get myself a job. So I decided to move up to the big smoke, and I shifted up to Adelaide and got myself a job. Now, back then, when you got a job, you would go to a newspaper, not a computer. So I opened up the newspaper, and this job jumped out of the page at me. It said, uncapped earning potential, and then in little writing underneath it said 100% commission-based. And I thought I was on a winner. There's no way they're going to hire me for this job. This sounds too good to be true. Has anyone in the room done door-to-door sales before? You guys know it is not a walk in the park, right? This is hard yakka. What would happen is, before the sun came up in the morning, I would rock up to this warehouse with my little Nissan Pulsar. They would fill the boot of my car with junk. I'm talking rubbishy books, fake perfume, toys that never worked, steak knife sets. And it would be my job to drive to a suburb, pull up, unload the junk out of the boot of my car into my duffel bag, and walk business to business to business selling my junk. And what I learnt very, very quickly, a few people laughing, you guys totally get me, right? This wasn't easy. What I learnt really quickly was that I had approximately 7 seconds before someone made the decision to either boot me out or hear me out. And I got booted out of a lot of places before I realised that the key here was not to talk to them about who I was, my agenda, and what I had to sell. It was to get them talking about themselves, to learn as quickly as I could everything there was to learn about them, what their passions and their dreams were, what their pains and their challenges were, then adapt the junk in my little duffel bag to either improve their life or reduce their pain. Now, interestingly, through my whole career and right up to today, every time I've been successful, everything that's gone well in my business has always been attributed back to that one lesson I learnt by accident. There are no accidents, I know. Mitch and Mills sitting there looking at me. Yep, that's right. There are no accidents, but that one lesson I learned in that very first job that I thought was a bit of a downturn was actually the one lesson that I don't want any of you guys in the room to forget. I'm going to address it again a little bit later. But when I finished up with that job, and I was there for a record amount of time, I was their longest standing ever employee, probably still to this day, I was there for a whole month. After that, I moved into a number of sales and marketing roles, and then eventually into a marketing role with the Entertainment Book where I stayed for 11 years and loved every minute of it. But as I went through that process, I got to work with thousands of businesses, and I got to learn that business owners go into business because they're either passionate about or very skilled at something. The problem is that when you go into a business, you actually also have to be good at a number of other things too. You have to be good often at HR and managing staff, PR and managing your brand online, or in general. You've got to be good at managing your finances, and you have to be good at sales and marketing. All skills that for many people they don't feel comes naturally to them. And it leads them to end up disliking what they're doing, feeling frustrated and feeling annoyed because they've moved away from what they love best. So I wanted to get into a consulting business where I could take the weight of marketing and social media off the shoulders of business owners and help them get back to do what they do best. One of the very first clients I took on was a local Launceston retailer. And she came to me and she was frustrated. She knew the importance of Facebook for business. She knew that she needed to get into this space. But she was really, really struggling. She had over 3,000 people on her page. And of those 3,000 people, which was fairly good for a little Launceston retailer that had no training, she was frustrated because she put a post out there and she was hearing crickets chirping, nothing was happening. So she asked me if I'd come in and I'd take over her social media for her and run it. And what we found almost straight away, which is a very common problem and probably is the case for a lot of people in the room today, is that over 95% of her audience were located in countries other than Australia. Now, this is a retailer. They need people to walk in the door. And this is really common because a lot of people have gone out and spent money and time on Facebook buying likes that are not actually their target audience. So we put a lot of time and strategy and effort into rebuilding her audience. And now, I still look after that client today. When we put a post up about a product, it sells out straight away. When she puts any other post up, she gets interaction straight away, and it's going gangbusters for her. And I'm going to teach you guys how to do that. But what I will say is that what I'm going to talk to you about today is how to leverage Facebook to build your business. What I don't want you to do is lose sight of the relationships and the communications with your customers. If there's one tip I can give you today that is absolutely going to help you, that is, do not put a computer between you and your customers. So, where is Facebook going? What I'm going to talk to you about today is where Facebook's off to, what it's capable of and where it's heading, and what it can do for your business. We're also going to talk about some simple and game-changing tips that will make a massive difference in your business. I'm going to explain to you what the algorithm is, why it's there, and how to get around it. And we're also going to talk about how to reach your target customer. And I'm going to talk to you about a really super cool technique today to cause your customers to come to you. We're going to talk about a lead generation technique I use in my business to get warm leads to come to me. Really, really awesome. Okay, so earlier I asked who's done my Facebook bootcamp before. Those people that have done my Facebook bootcamp, can you guys stand up for me, please? Ooh, it's getting scary. Okay, so for the face that you want to stand up because we've actually got a little gift for you guys. In the process of going through our little rebrand, what we've actually done is we have put our training on a brand new portal. And the beauty of this is that it means Facebook Bootcamp is no longer only a 3-month access. You guys now get lifetime access to completely updated information. We also have included a little gift in there for you guys as well to thank you for taking us along the journey with you. So thank you so much, guys. You can sit down now. Should get you to stand for the whole presentation. Thanks, guys. So what I will talk to you about as well is a brand new course that we're going to be launching today, which is diving into this lead generation technique I've spoken to you about. You'll notice on the bottom of the screen there's a little link. So if anybody wants to dive in and do boot camp with us, you can either click on that link, you could type that link into your phones and register. You can go to the Juice Plus Live app. Who's using the app? Has everyone got the app going on their phone? Awesome. There's going to be lots of info on there over the next couple of days, so make sure you've got that app going. So there's a link in there to register for boot camp or the lead generation course. Or, of course, you can come and meet with myself or Elise. But we do have some exciting bonuses I'll mention to you shortly that are going to come along with that too. Okay, this little slide here was, these are some statistics I came across when I went into my first sales training role. And they're very important because I want to talk to you now about something called subliminal persuasion. Anyone heard of that before? It's a technique that many of the biggest brands out there are using, and it's actually a technique that anybody, no matter how big your business is, can use. Subliminal persuasion is the art of strategically placing yourself in the path of your perfect customer. It's also known as touchpoints, seeding, and priming. The thing about this slide deck is you'll notice the very first slide says that 48% of salespeople never follow up with a lead or a prospect. That's pretty scary when you think about it. Can I just say it's actually your responsibility to follow up with a lead, whether it's someone that's come to you, whether it's somebody that you've come across, or whether a friend has referred somebody to you. You need to follow up with them because they've come across your path for a reason. One thing I do want to say though is a lot of people when they see this go, I'm not a salesperson, that doesn't apply to me, I don't want to be a salesperson. And can I just say, it doesn't matter whether you are a carpenter, a cleaner, or whether you are a car salesperson. You're a salesperson. Whether you're selling a product or a service or yourself, at some point in your life you need to embrace the sale. Because if you don't, you're going to miss out on opportunities. And most definitely, if you're going to be in this business, you need to embrace it because it's important. Part of the reason I want to talk to you about subliminal persuasion is because you'll notice down the very bottom of that slide that 80% of all sales are made on the 5th to the 12th contact. Now, contact doesn't mean the 5th to the 12th time that you hound somebody by ringing them or emailing them or knocking on their door. It's the 5th to the 12th time someone comes across your brand, and it can be quite subtle. It could be as simple as you having a Facebook page, a website, strategically placing your business cards or brochures in a cafe where your target market hang out, being involved in a networking group, running an event, or sponsoring a group or an organisation. All of these things, if strategically thought through, are considered touch points, and you need, write this down, 7 minimum out there at any given time. 7 ways for your perfect customer to stumble across your brand at any given time. More is better, but 7 is the bare minimum that you need. I'd encourage you to check out the YouTube clip by Darren Brown when you get time. It's only 6 minutes, very entertaining, and he explains the technique of subliminal persuasion very well in a very entertaining way. So I would encourage you to do that for sure. Darren Brown with an N. So where is Facebook going? One of the things that I'm getting asked a lot right now is what is happening with Facebook. You'd notice, some of you, that in January, Mark Zuckerberg made an announcement that they're committing to cleaning Facebook up in 2018. Now that means that they're going to stop as much spam getting out to the user newsfeed. The reason for this is because Facebook cares more about the user than they do the business. Now, why is that when they want the money? The reason is because if they don't take care of the user, they don't have a platform for the businesses to advertise on. So they know that in order to take care of the business, they need to take care of the user first. So you're kind of left a little bit on your own there. Facebook won't take responsibility if you can't deliver awesome content that the users want to see. So you need to start getting strategic and clever and moving around that. The other thing that you'll notice is that there's a lot of media going on right now about the misuse of data through Cambridge Analytica. And a question a lot of people are asking is, where are Facebook going? Will they even be here tomorrow? Do I bother? And my answer to that is, don't concern yourself by what's happening tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. It doesn't matter. Because if Facebook died off tomorrow, and I can almost guarantee you they won't, but if they did, another giant will almost immediately rise up in their place. And it's not going to get simpler. So the best thing you can do is start moving. I want to show you a couple of numbers quickly. 24.7 million is the current Australian population. I can't see my slides, so I'm going off memory now. And I've just changed this. 15 million are the number of Australian users that are on Facebook at least once every single day. That's 6 in 10 people in Australia currently log on to Facebook daily. 2.2 billion is the Facebook population worldwide now. 1.45 billion, did I get that right? Is my memory serving me correctly? 1.45 billion are the number of Facebook users worldwide that log on daily. 70% of them refresh their newsfeed somewhere between 8 and 12 times every single day, with an average visit time of 20 minutes. That is a huge amount of potential exposure, if only we can get their attention, and herein lies the problem for so many. What I want to talk to you about now are some of the Facebook trends and benefits that I think you can all benefit from, but you want to at least be across. Some of these will sound a little bit, out of your league at the moment for a few of you. What I do want you to do is be aware of what's out there and what you can do. Now, I could go on about this topic for ages, but I've picked just a few out that I think you should be across. Before I do that, I'm going to touch quickly on business pages versus personal profiles. Now, both are very, very valuable, but what I do want to talk to you about is the importance of both and why you need to be careful about how you use them. A personal profile is an awesome place for you to build relationships, establish connections with people, and you should absolutely be doing that. It is not, however, a place for you to be promoting any product, service, or business opportunity. That needs to be done on a business page. If you do try to do it through a personal profile, you'll find yourself in breach of Facebook's rules. So please be very careful, because I'd hate to see any of you in hot water over that. There's value in all of you having both a personal profile and a business page. There's also value in groups. Groups are a sensational place to get community and conversation going. And again, I'd highly recommend that you look into that as you start to build your online presence. Now, I want to talk to you about this thing that Celine didn't know about, targeting and retargeting. I hope she's in the room and writing notes. She's not in the room. She's left. I'm going to have to go through this with her after. So targeting and retargeting are two really, they're oldies but goodies. They're two amazing tools we've all got access to on Facebook. The first, targeting, is simply that Facebook knows everything there is to know about you and everybody else on Facebook. So you've got the ability to target people right down to what they eat for breakfast. You can target somebody based on what car they drive, what they do for a living, how old they are, what magazines they read, what TV shows they watch. All of this is information Facebook has, and it's information you can also utilise to make sure you're getting to the right people. The next thing is retargeting. Now, who in the room has heard of the Facebook Pixel before? If you've done my boot camp, you would have heard me mention it. A couple of you, okay. So I'm going to explain it to all the rest of you that did not put your hands up. It is a little bit more complex, so don't freak out, but just be aware that this is something really awesome you can do, so be aware that it's there. The Facebook Pixel is a piece of code. I know I said the C word, but bear with me. It's a piece of code that Facebook give you for free that you can embed in your website, and that piece of code talks back to Facebook. So how this works is, let's just say you had a rough day in the office and you think, that's it, I'm going on a holiday. And you know you should probably go to Melbourne or Bali because you don't have a lot of time and you can't really afford to go far, but you decide you're going to check out Hawaii. So you jump onto a website, you start dreaming and imagining yourself at the beach, the cocktails, the swimming, the hotels, the massages. And after a few minutes you think, you know what, it's time for me to get back to reality, and so you either go and start looking at Melbourne or you shut it all down and get back to work. I do this a bit. But within a couple of hours you start seeing adverts appearing on your newsfeed for Hawaii, and you think, oh, the universe is telling me I should be going to Hawaii. Honey, we're going. Guys, it's not the universe, it's Facebook. This can go a little bit deeper. I find that happens with BMWs a lot too, by the way. This does go a little bit deeper. Let's just say I've got a clothing store online, and someone goes to my clothing store, a woman, she puts a pair of jeans in the shopping cart, but right before she can complete her purchase, she gets distracted. Someone taps her on the shoulder, doorbell rings, phone rings, and she walks away, she never completes her purchase. I can have Facebook programmed to automatically deliver her an ad within an hour or so, promoting that exact pair of jeans and a simple buy now button to simplify that process and get her to come back to my store. Pretty powerful stuff. The next thing I want to talk to you about is the good old Messenger bot. Now these are well and truly on the rise and something you need to be watching out for. Has anyone seen one of these in action before? Have you had messages in your inbox and you're like, I don't think that's human? Yeah? Messenger bots, if used incorrectly, can be a bit impersonal, and I think they can probably do more damage than good. I've seen certainly some instances where that's the case. However, they can also be a fantastic way to engage your audience and to do something a little bit different to what everyone else is doing. We've got a really simple, awesome technique that we teach in our course, in the new course that we're doing, which shows you how to implement a really cool use, a simple use that anyone can do of a messenger bot in your business. And we've had really great success with that. But I do want to talk to you about two programs if you want to look into it in your own time that you can go check out. Don't bother reinventing the wheel. These programs have been created. All you have to do is tell them what to say and what triggers you want. So the first program is called Credi Response. It's an entry-level messenger bot, really fun one to use. And then the next one is called ManyChat. ManyChat's another one that's a really great little program to jump in and have a look at. The next thing I'm going to talk to you about, and I'm actually going to shortly dive into this topic, is lead generation. Facebook is also a place to qualify and identify warm leads for your business. What I'm going to show you is a technique to draw them out and get them to come to you happily. But I do want to address a little bit of a Facebook problem first, and that is that for lots of you guys in the room, I know, have been thinking, if you've had a business page, some of you are very good at this, but others are thinking, it's not working. I feel like I'm banging my head against a wall. Every time I put a post up, those crickets are chirping, nothing's happening, it's not going anywhere. And there are a couple of reasons why, and I want to address those because it's important you understand. The first is you. There are actually 3 real Facebook fears that I've identified over the course of my time in this industry that actually come from the user, not from Facebook. Now, those 3 Facebook fears consist of these 3 things. A fear of change. The fact of the matter is that Facebook is fast moving. It is constantly changing, which means you need to be constantly adapting, changing and learning with it. If you don't, you will get left behind, and fearing the change is not going to help you. So the best thing you can do is slowly move. The next thing is overwhelm. Now, there's a small group of people in this room today. I'm not sure what, maybe 200, 250 people here today. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Over the next couple of days, I'm going to have at least 20 people come to me at my stand upstairs, and they're going to say these words. Sam, I'm not tech savvy. Do you know it doesn't actually matter? If I told you, and I don't have time today, the story of where I originated and where I am now, you would be rolling on the floor laughing. Because I can tell you I did not come from a tech savvy background. In fact, it's probably one of the reasons why I enjoy and am able to explain this stuff so well to people that feel exactly that way. Because I don't come at it from an IT background. However, it does mean that you need to control that overwhelm, and you need to be aware that if you're not moving forward at any pace, you're going backwards. The last thing is actually a really interesting one, and this is a fear of rejection. People often fear, what will happen if they don't like my page? What will happen if they don't like my post? Does that mean they don't like me? No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean they don't like you. It isn't personal. In fact, a lot of what you're doing is getting blocked by Facebook. So I'm going to talk to you about something else that is actually at the heart of why you're struggling. But what I will say is hope isn't a strategy. It's not going to get easier, so don't sit back and wait for it to. Now, I want to talk to you quickly about the Facebook algorithm before I dive into the nitty-gritty cool stuff. The Facebook algorithm is a reason why most of you struggle on Facebook. It's a program that Facebook adopted around about 3 years ago. And this program is designed to learn everything there is to learn about you, what you do, what websites you go to, your demographic, your interests, your behaviours. It learns what posts you click on, what videos you hover over, and who you converse and connected with on Facebook. It uses then all of that information to decide exactly what to deliver to you and when. The problem is that many of us as businesses are so tuned into talking about us, our product, our service, and what we do. And naturally that algorithm is saying, that is not interesting to your user, we're not delivering it. And so they do what we call shadowing it or ghosting it. They just stop sending it out. So what you'll find is that your posts are just going nowhere because Facebook isn't letting you. So you need to think outside the box, and you need to be strategic about the post that you're using. And this is something I'm going to walk you through now. I'm going to talk to you about my 5 Facebook non-negotiables before we dive into the cool lead generation stuff. These are 5 negotiables that will help you get around that algorithm. We will, for those of you that haven't done bootcamp and decide this week that you want to do bootcamp, we will dive in and nut those things out with you and show you exactly how to apply them in your business. But for now, the first thing I need you to think about is you need to remember compliance, Juice Plus compliance, I should say. It is really important whenever you've got a presence online that you make sure that you're representing the Juice Plus product correctly. If you want to know more about what that looks like, you can either go to the virtual office and check it out there. You can come see myself, or I'm going to dob in Ben Hasty, who is an absolute guru when it comes to Juice Plus compliance. And he's very happy to have a chat with anybody at any time. I did check with him before I said that, about Juice Plus compliance and making sure that you're representing the brand correctly. But the first tip I want to talk to you about is the 80-20 rule. It's the most widely known, most widely ignored rule on Facebook. That is that 80% of all of your content needs to be engaging, informative, interesting and entertaining to your target market. And only when you get that right do you earn the right to then do 20% of self-promotion. Self-promotion includes the use of your business name, your email address, your website, your phone number, the name of products, the use of dollar signs, and often numbers. Any of those will be picked up as trigger words or phrases, and Facebook will not show your stuff to as many people because it will be considered self-promotional. The other thing you need to do is make sure you're being consistent. 5 to 7 posts a week is the sweet spot. If you're doing less than that per week, you're wasting your time. If you're doing more than that, then you're possibly diluting your message and you're not putting enough strategy and thought into the posts you're putting out there. The next thing is video. Get comfy with it. You'll notice on that video I showed you earlier that by the end of 2018, it's predicted that 90% of all content on social media will consist of video. It's almost hit that now, which means that if you're not using video, again, you're missing an opportunity. Now, Facebook favours Facebook Live over anything else. It favours video over photographs and pictures over posts. You should never do a post, by the way, without any kind of a picture or visual content there, to be honest. So remember, though, that Facebook is a form of entertainment. That's why people go to Facebook. So therefore, you guys need to be entertaining. That's just how it works. Now, I want to give you 2 apps now that you're going to find very, very useful when it comes to video and post design. The first one is called Animoto. Now, I've actually had Ben load a link into the app that will give you a free Animoto trial. Now, Animoto is an app that you can use. You can use it on your phone or your computer, and it will turn photographs, and all of us have got a graveyard of photos on our phone. It'll turn photographs into beautiful looking video in minutes or seconds. I think the last one I did, we timed it. It was less than 1 minute to create a beautiful video with text overlay, music. Has anyone used Animoto in the room? You guys? Yeah, anyone that's done the boot camp, yeah? It was a couple of you guys have, yeah, cool. So Animoto is definitely well and truly worth doing, and an awesome app to get in and have a play with. If you can't find that link, just come see me, we'll sort you out. Another one is called Canva. Canva is, for the most part, is free. Really, really handy program to use, because what it basically does is allows you to use a drag and drop technique to use templates that have already been created. Again, you don't need to reinvent the wheel, it's all there. This is posts and beautiful images, cover photos, all that sort of stuff ready to go. So definitely jump in and check out Canva. One of the awesome things that we're going to be doing today is for anyone that does do bootcamp, they're going to get a bonus Canva tutorial where we're going to show you how to use that program and get the most out of it. Number 3 is know your audience and what makes them tick. And I mean get to know everything about them. You want to be speaking their language, so much so that when they see a post on your page, they almost feel like you're talking to them across the table having a coffee in a cafe. You want to be so tuned into who they are. So don't lose connection. You want them to feel like you're talking directly to them. So some of the things you should get to know: their age, whether they're male or female, what they do for a living, if they've got kids, how old the kids are, where they live, what car they drive, what magazines they read, what TV shows they watch. They're all important things, because if Facebook knows it, you should be using that information. The other thing as well is, if you're sitting there right now going, I don't actually know what my audience are interested in or who they are, Facebook can help you find that information out. There's a really cool tool in Facebook where you can go in and you can identify a lot of these things. So you can use it both ways. The next thing is scheduling. You need to plan, because life gets in the way. If you don't schedule your posts in, you're going to do one of 2 things. The first one is you're going to spend all your time on Facebook, and I don't want you doing that. Facebook is not a useful use of your time. It's not where you should be hanging out. My suggestion is you go to Facebook once a week for 2 to 3 hours, you plan your week out, you block your time, you make sure you've scheduled your week in so that your posts are going to go up at suitable times. You've used your strategy, you've thought about what am I going to deliver to my target audience, the 80-20 rule, all of those things have been taken into account. The other thing that you'll end up doing if you don't do this is you'll get to Thursday and you'll go, I haven't put a post up. And so you go through your phone quickly, you pick out a picture, you put that up, and you haven't considered your target market. You haven't thought about the 80-20 rule, and you haven't thought about the best time of day to be posting. And it just falls on deaf ears. Something to consider is it can take up to 3 months to build up good traction on Facebook when you get this right, and it can take 1 week to lose it again. So make sure you're scheduling and you're planning. Really, really important. One thing that we've just created for our boot campers, and all those of you that have done boot camp will get access to this, those of you that decide to do it are also going to get this, is a social media planner, little calendar. This looks just like a standard odd everyday calendar from there. It's a bit small, but actually we've created it with all of these rules in mind. It's got a lead scoring process so that you can actually go through and rate your posts. It helps you to identify what is and isn't working, and it also gives you a ton of really useful tips and tricks as to how to post effectively. The other thing as well that I want you to think about is laying the foundation right. The amount of people that, because Facebook is free, don't put the time and effort into getting it right baffles me. Guys, you need to make sure that your page, your foundation is laid down properly. So what does that look like? It looks like a number of things. The first thing is your profile picture. Your profile picture always needs to be your logo and your brand. Your logo. It's not the story. If you're in hospitality, it's not a coffee cup or a muffin. If you serve people or you do yoga or health, it's not a dish and it's not a picture of you bending over backwards. It is your logo, your exact logo. Your profile picture should never change unless your brand changes. Now, I know a few of you are going, what about headshots? If you are your business, then headshot is fine. So with Sam Lee's Consulting, I had a headshot for my profile picture. But Oxano Marketing is more than Sam. We've got a team. There's other things that go on. Sam is not the forefront of Oxano Marketing. And so we use our logo for that Facebook page. Then comes your cover image. Your cover image is where you start to visually tell the story. That's where you can put the picture of you bending over backwards. If anyone does that, I'd like to see it. That's where you can put a picture of customers enjoying your service or your product or recipes or dishes or whatever that might be. The next thing is your handle. Now, your handle is your unique Facebook identifier, also known as your page username, and it's located underneath your profile picture with a little @ symbol in front of it. This is critically important to make sure that that is your exact business name, not an email address, website, no hyphenating, no shortening. It needs to be your exact business name. The reason is this is how Facebook locates you in order to allow people to tag and mention your business. Now, if you don't know what that is, that's okay, but know that you want it, so you need to make it easy for people to do it. You can learn it later. The next thing is you need to make sure that you have filled in your about section correctly. Fill in your story, make sure your contact details, everything in there is easy to find. Your call to action button should be set, which is the button to the bottom right of your cover image, as your one main action you want people to take when they come to your Facebook page. So if you want them to shop now, it should be shop now. If you want them to contact you, it should be call now or email. There are a number of things I don't want you to set it as, but we'll dive into that during the course because we don't have a lot of time for that today. The next thing you want to do is make sure that your tabs on the left-hand side are set correctly. For example, if you don't have an online store, don't have a Shop Now tab. If reviews are irrelevant for you, don't have a Reviews tab. If you provide services, have a Services tab. Pretty easy. All right, I want to dive into this cool lead generation technique before I quickly talk to you about bootcamp and wrap up, because there are 2 more amazing speakers coming up after me. Now, this technique is one that I've used in my business for probably about 8-9 months now. And we use this technique to generate around about 30 to 40 qualified, warm, interested leads per week. And it costs us nothing. And I'm going to show you exactly how we do it. But what I do want to say is it's vitally important that you always nurture your leads. Otherwise, you're not going to have loyal followers and customers coming out the bottom. You're going to have one-time customers. They'll move on. They won't say positive things, and then you'll be looking for more leads. So make sure you're always nurturing your customers. So how this technique works. This is a picture of myself and Rach. It's actually a video. And what we will do is we'll do a Facebook Live video that we put up on our Facebook page. Now, when we put that video up, we're very careful to title the video very specifically. This is an important part of this process. So we'll label the video with exactly what we're talking about. In this case, we were talking about how to run successful competitions on Facebook to build your Facebook profile. So we knew that if anyone went in and watched this video, they were pretty interested in building a business and learning about how to run competitions, yeah? So if we then retarget anyone that watches that video for 20 seconds or longer, we can be pretty safe in saying that they've got an interest in running a successful Facebook page. That's not what we do in this process, but it is definitely an option that you can look into. In this case, we talked for about 20 minutes about how to run successful competitions on Facebook. Then towards the end, I mentioned that I've got a free downloadable document that anybody can access right now that summarises everything we've just spoken about. a PDF document that tells you exactly how to run a competition on Facebook, all the ins and outs, as well as Facebook's rules and some really cool ideas on how to run great competitions for your business. And it was completely free. We put the link up there with the video, and then if anyone clicked on that link, they'd get a little pop-up box. And that pop-up box would say, thanks for registering for our downloadable document. Just provide us with your email and we'll send it straight to your email inbox. So they're happy and we're happy because we receive their email, they receive the document, everyone's on a winner. So how do we actually do this process? So the first thing and the most important thing here is the lead magnet itself. This is the document you create to give away. Now, it doesn't actually have to be a document. In my case, we've created, maybe 15, 20 documents over time, just as we think of ideas. Every single one of you has a lead magnet within you. I can guarantee there's not one person in this room that can't come up with something that you can create for a lead magnet. It might be a tutorial video. It might be a how-to like what I've done here. It might be a recipe. I've seen lots of Juice Pluses use recipes. It might be exercises you can do for 5 minutes in the morning to get your fitness stuff done and out of the way. There's lots and lots of things you can use for a lead magnet. If you're not sure what you could create, come see me. I'll come up with something for you, or Elise will. I'll put you in the hot seat. Really, really important though, that this is in direct alignment with what you do, because this lead magnet is how you're qualifying the lead. So you don't want someone to be downloading something that's got nothing to do with your business, because then you're getting someone in that is potentially not going to become a customer. So use your lead magnet essentially to qualify them, and that's what we've done here. The next thing you need to do is you need to set up a program for the pop-up box. Now this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, but it is actually a very, very important step. These are 3 that we've used. There's many out there. The easiest one, and the one I recommend you look into if you're going to go through this, is Leadpages. That's the one we use most of the time. It's probably the easiest, the most user-friendly, I should say. And it's important you create your pop-up box with a program. Reason being is, number one, you don't want to be the person to have to facilitate this process. You need a program to facilitate this for you. The reason being is if you're in bed and you're sleeping and someone says that they want your download, you don't want to have to be constantly available to be able to provide it to someone. Remember that people want to move fast on social media. They want it now. So you need to be able to provide it to them immediately, no matter what you're doing. The other thing is that they look great and they convert really, really well. And lastly, they're completely trackable. So if somebody clicks on my link, but then they back out of providing their email address, I can retarget them with something very gentle, like another video or an ad about another download or something along those lines. This is the back end of Leadpages. This is just the drag and drop, me creating that little pop-up box. And this is what the customer sees. So when they click that link with the video to get their free download, they see the box on the left-hand side. They click the yellow button and then they see the middle box, which just says, provide your email address, give us your name, and we'll send this download straight to your inbox. Now, this is important. You can actually get any information you want. You can get phone number, birthday, you can get custom information from them, whatever's relevant for you. But I would say don't ask for too many things, because the key to this is keeping it simple, or people won't give you their information at all. So what I noticed is if I ask for phone numbers, I don't get anywhere near as many people submitting the form. So now I just ask for name and email address. Much simpler. After they do that process, they receive a little email in their inbox from me saying, thank you so much for downloading our PDF. We hope you find it really useful. And then I receive an email address and all of their details sent to my email campaign management program. Now, you could have it sent to MailChimp automatically, or you could have it go to, if you've got any other campaign management program, I use Drip, or you can have it sent straight to your email inbox. Just if you use Outlook or Hotmail or something like that, it will send you an email and say, you've had an opt-in, here are the details. So really cool process. I'm really happy to chat with any of you guys further about that if you would like to dive in a little bit deeper. So what I want to do right now is I want to really quickly readdress those 3 groups I spoke about at the start. The first group of you are hanging for the next person to get on stage. No, hopefully not. Hopefully I've been entertaining just a little bit for the last hour. The first group of people have got heaps out of this. You're ready to go. You've got your one action item and you're chomping at the bit to get moving. The next group of people, though, have got that foundation, and you guys want to know maybe a little bit more about how this Facebook Bootcamp works. So I'm going to talk to you about that in a sec. But there's a third group in the room right now. And that third group in the room are the people that are much more serious about where they're going with their business. Like I said, you guys are the ones that are chomping at the bit, you're ready to go, your heart gets this little flutter when you get excited thinking about it. Now for some of, not all of them, but for some of those people, we've got a new program called MAP. MAP is a program I've developed to work one-on-one with my team and that person to build their business and take it to the next level. Now this program, we only take on 5 people a quarter by interview only. If anybody would like to talk to me further about that, I would be really happy to have a chat to you over the next couple of days. But for the rest of you, I really quickly want to talk to you about Facebook Bootcamp. Now Facebook Bootcamp is a complete A to Z step-by-step course online to do in your own time at whatever time suits you, that gives you exactly how to get Facebook working quickly and effectively so you can get back to doing the things you guys love. So why would you do it? There's a few reasons. Firstly, you're probably wanting some step-by-step, what to do next, how do we get Facebook working, how do we dive in and use all of those tools I spoke about. The other thing might be that you're either beginner or experienced. Keep in mind this suits anybody. Doesn't matter how experienced you are. And I also don't want you guys spending a lot of time on social media, to be honest. I want you in your business doing the things you love and you're really great at, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So what we've put together is a little package for Juice Plus for today. This package is based on us knowing that if we show you how over the next 5 weeks to get 1 new fruit and veg sign up for the next 5 weeks, you can have this paid for. Really quick, really easily, and we want you guys to absolutely be able to build your business to the next level. So what we're including is all of our online modules, plus we've got some really exciting bonuses that are not listed up there. The first one is inclusion in our Canva bonus tutorial. So we're going to teach you how to use this really exciting program that helps you create really great posts quickly and easily. The other thing we're going to give you is something that we spent the last probably month developing, and this is a customised, Juice Plus customised social media plan. This is something we're going to give everybody that does bootcamp with us that's from Juice Plus, and the idea of this is that it will be a quick reference guide to give you a whole lot of specific posting ideas. It'll give you that calendar, and it'll give you a ton of tips and tricks around how to get it all working. Now, if you've either done bootcamp or you want to do bootcamp and the new Leads course, we've got our brand new Leads course that we've developed, and we're doing that for $97. And for that, you're actually going to get 2 90-minute online sessions where we're actually going to do them live, but you will get the recording if you want the recordings. What we're going to include in that are 4 modules, which will include, we're going to show you how to set up your own messenger bot, how to set up your own lead generation. We're going to show you how to use the Facebook Pixel and get that going. And we're also going to show you how to set up custom audiences as well. So one thing I will just really quickly point out is that all of these courses are online. They're due at a time that suits you, so you don't have to be available at a specific time. And you get to go back and watch them over and over and over again. So one of the great things about this is we're going to make sure that that content is always completely up to date. So if Facebook changes, I'll go in and change that module. So if in 6 months' time or a year's time you want to go back in, you go back in, you redo that one. Okay, so I told you all at the start I wanted you to write down 1 action item. Did anyone in the room write down 1 thing they're going to do in the next 24 hours? A few of you guys? Cool. What have you written down?
Schedule posts.
Yes. Awesome. Anybody else? Your hand over here. What have... I put you on the spot now. Did you put your hand up? Yeah. What was that?
You go.
What have you written down?
I've just got a bunch of questions.
Oh, a bunch of questions. Oh, cool. All right, well, we'll get to questions. That's awesome. Yeah?
My cover image story.
Perfect. You're going to make your cover image a story. Awesome, guys. Well, I hope you've got heaps out of this last little bit. Do we have time for like a couple of quick questions? Or I've gone, wait. Well, no one's telling me not to. Celine, I got told. I said, what happens if I go over time? And they said, Celine will crash tackle you. She hasn't re-entered the room, so we can do some questions.
So obviously the one thing that I hear that's not changing and hasn't changed since it started
Yes.
So for those 80%, our 80-20 in the business is that 80% of people are, the walkers in the business. They're
Yes.
paying for their product and that sort of stuff. So for those 80% of people who aren't ready to invest into the courses and that sort of stuff, what's the one thing that you would suggest that they do to build and grow relationships on their personal profile?
Okay. So that question was, what's the one thing I would suggest you to do to build relationships to grow your profile online? Is that right? Oh, personal profile, not business. Personal profile. Okay. One thing I would say, and this goes for all profiles, it doesn't matter whether it's personal, business or group, but one thing I would say is think to yourself about how you would talk to somebody if they were right in front of you. So when you're putting posts and content up on Facebook, don't think about, now I'm getting the time up sign. Celine isn't crash tackling me, I'm going to keep going. No, okay. You will, okay, all right. One thing I will say is that if you can't connect with people when they're right in front of you, you're not going to be able to do it through a computer. So whether it's through personal profile, business page or group, I want you to think about if you were sitting across from someone having a coffee, what words would you use? How would you phrase them? Don't put posts on Facebook using language that you think you should be putting up or what other people are using. How do you speak? That being said, keep in mind what's your brand, what's your language. So you need to think about whether you are your brand or that's something else. Does that make sense? Cool. Please, if you've got any questions, I am about to get crash tackled, so I better finish up. Please come and see myself or Elise. We're really excited to meet you guys and have a bit of a chat. If you want to know more about Bootcamp, if you've got anyone else coming that wants to know about Bootcamp, would also love to chat with those people. But thank you so much for having me.